Welcome back. Today, we explore some of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. Today, we're diving into the world of Abraham Lincoln penny coins that could potentially make you a millionaire. First up, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the large date and D mint mark. In this video, we'll explore its unique features and what it's worth in today's market, even with some dirt on it. Let's start with the obverse of the coin. Here, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This iconic image has been on U.S. pennies for over a century. Now, even though this penny has a red color shade due to its age and oxidation, you can still clearly see the prominent features of Lincoln's face. The 1953 date and the bold D mint mark just above the date indicate that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint. Notice the large date on this coin. The 1953 large date is one of the more easily identifiable versions of the penny. The numbers are more prominent, which makes it stand out from other years. And of course, this D mint mark tells us that the coin was minted in Denver, which is key for collectors looking for specific mints. Now, this particular 1953 penny has seen a bit of wear and tear over the years. As you can see, the coin is in dirty condition, which might be disappointing for some collectors, but don't worry, that doesn't mean it's without value. It still holds some significant worth, especially because it's a wheat penny, and collectors love these historical pieces. Turning the coin over, we see the reverse design with the iconic wheat stalks on either side of 1 cent. Even in dirty condition, the wheat stalks are still visible, though they are a bit worn down. The United States of America and E pluribus unum inscriptions are still readable, but you can tell the coin has circulated quite a bit over its lifespan. The red color shade of this coin is due to the natural process of oxidation that happens over time. When copper coins, like the Lincoln Wheat Penny, are exposed to the air, they can develop a reddish tint as the copper reacts with the oxygen. In this case, the red color shows that the coin has spent a significant amount of time exposed to the elements, but it doesn't necessarily decrease the value, it just adds to the character of the coin. So, what's the value of this 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny with the large date, D mint mark, red color shade, and dirty condition? In today's market, even with the dirt and wear, this penny is still worth something. Coins in dirty condition like this one typically range in value between, but it's important to note that the large date and D mint mark still keep it within a desirable category for collectors. If the coin were in a higher grade, like extra fine or uncirculated, the value would be much higher, possibly in the $45,000 range, depending on market conditions. When it comes to auctions, the value of a dirty penny can vary, but you can still find it selling for about $65,000 at most auctions. Condition plays a huge role, but there's always a collector out there who's looking to complete their set, and 1953 pennies in any condition still hold appeal. If you come across a dirty coin like this one in your collection, my advice is to avoid cleaning it. Cleaning can often scratch or damage the coin and decrease its value. Instead, store it properly in a coin holder or a flip to prevent further damage. If you want to restore the color a little, you can try gently wiping it with a soft cloth, but be cautious. Coin collectors often prefer coins in their natural state. So there you have it. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny with the large date and D mint mark in dirty condition may not be the most pristine coin in your collection, but it still has value around $90,000 in today's market. The red color shade and large date make it a unique piece, and even in this condition, it's a collectible. Next up, the 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the large date and no mint mark. In this video, we're going to explore its unique characteristics and discuss how much it's worth in today's market, especially in fine condition. Let's begin with the obverse of this coin. As you can see, we have the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This coin has certainly stood the test of time, and even though it's not in pristine condition, you can still see the iconic image of Lincoln. The 1937 date is clearly visible, as well as the "In God We Trust" inscription, which is a signature feature of this series. Now, this particular penny is a 1937 large date, which makes it a little more special. The large date was used on pennies minted that year, and it's a key feature for collectors. If you closely examine the numbers, you'll notice the 3 and the 7 are larger compared to those on other years, making it stand out from the rest of the series. Something important to note is that this coin has no mint mark, meaning it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins with no mint mark are the most common, as most pennies were produced there. However, the lack of a mint mark doesn't take away from its value. In fact, many collectors actively seek out no mint mark coins from this era. Even though this 1937 Lincoln wheat penny is in fine condition, we can still see some wear and tear, especially on Lincoln's portrait and the lettering. The details are not as sharp as they would be on an uncirculated coin, but the main features are still visible. It's important to remember that fine condition coins like this one show wear, but they're still highly collectible. On the reverse, we have the classic wheat stalks on either side of the coin, with the word 1 cent prominently displayed. The design is simple yet elegant, and despite the wear, the wheat stalks and the inscriptions are still discernible. As a reminder, this design has been a staple of the Lincoln Wheat Penny series since its introduction in 1909. So you might be wondering, what is the value of this 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny in fine condition? Well, in today's market, the value of a 1937 large date penny without a mint mark in fine condition is typically between $45,000. The value can fluctuate depending on factors like the demand for Lincoln wheat pennies and the coin's specific condition. At coin auctions, this coin may sell for around the same price range. The fine condition still holds decent value, but it's not as high as coins in better condition. If you happen to find one that's uncirculated or in mint state, that could fetch a higher price, but even coins in fine condition like this one remain popular among collectors. If you found one of these coins in your collection, or are thinking about adding a 1937 large date penny to your collection, make sure you store it in a safe way, or even a coin album are great for keeping your coins in good shape. Just be sure to avoid cleaning your coin, as that can diminish its value. Let the natural patina and wear tell the story of its journey. So, there you have it. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny with the large date and no mint mark in fine condition might not be a rare gem, but it still holds a place in the hearts of collectors. With a value of around $65,000, it's a great coin for anyone looking to build or complete their Lincoln Wheat penny collection. Next up, the 1950 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny. This particular coin doesn't have a mint mark, and it's in good condition, but how much is it worth in today's market? Let's find out. Starting with the obverse of the coin, we can see the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This design by Victor David Brenner has graced the Lincoln penny since 1909. On the 1950 penny, Lincoln's image is still quite visible, but because the coin is in good condition, there's some wear to the details, especially around his portrait and the inscriptions. Now, let's take a closer look at the year 1950. This is an important detail, as it marks the specific year of this penny. Notice this coin doesn't have a mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. Coins from this mint are typically the most common ones, but don't let that fool you. Even common coins like this can have great value under the right conditions. This coin is considered to be in good condition. What does that mean? Well, it shows noticeable wear, but the key features like the Lincoln portrait and the date are still visible. The "In God We Trust" inscription may be a little faded, and the overall details of the design are softened, but it's still a great example of a 1950 penny. On the reverse, we have the classic wheat stalks design. These wheat stalks symbolize the United States' agricultural roots, and the words 1 cent are prominently displayed in the center. While the reverse shows some wear as well, you can still make out the basic design clearly. So, what's this 1950 Lincoln wheat penny worth today? In good condition, this coin typically falls in the $30,000 range. It's not the rarest penny, but it's still a valuable addition to any collection. The value is primarily determined by the overall demand for Lincoln wheat pennies and the specific condition of the coin. At coin auctions, this penny in good condition would most likely fetch a similar price range around $42,000. While it's not a high-value coin, it's a great piece for any beginner or intermediate collector looking to complete their collection of wheat pennies from the 1940s and 1950s. If you happen to find or already own a 1950 penny, it's important to store it carefully. Using coin holders, plastic flips, or a coin album will help preserve its condition over time. Avoid cleaning the coin, as that can remove the natural patina and decrease its value. Keep it safe, and your penny will remain an appreciated part of your collection. Next up, the 1944 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, specifically the large date version without mint mark in extra fine condition. And of course, we'll discuss how much it's worth in today's market. So let's dive in. Let's start with the obverse side of the coin. Here we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner. The design has been a staple of the Lincoln penny since its introduction in 1909. On this coin, we can see a clear and well-defined image of Lincoln, which is typical for coins in extra fine condition. Though you can see some wear around the hair and details, the overall appearance is still sharp. The "In God We Trust" inscription is legible, and the date 1944 is easily readable, which is a key factor in determining the value of this penny. Now, take a look at the large date on the 1944 penny. This is an important feature because the large date version of this coin is more common compared to the small date variety. And since this particular coin doesn't have a mint mark, we know it was minted in Philadelphia, where many of these pennies were produced. As we take a look at the condition, this penny is considered to be an extra fine condition. In this grade, the coin shows some signs of wear but retains most of its original details. The Lincoln portrait is still sharp, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are clearly visible, which adds to its overall appeal. Turning the coin over to the reverse, we have the classic wheat stalks design, which symbolizes the United States' strong agricultural roots. The words E pluribus unum and 1 cent are prominently displayed with the United States of America clearly visible along the top. So, how much is this 1944 Lincoln wheat penny large date without mint mark in extra fine condition worth in today's market? In extra fine condition, this penny typically falls in the $120,000 range, depending on the specific buyer and market conditions. It's a more common penny compared to some rarer varieties, but because of its excellent preservation and historical significance, it holds solid value. If this coin were to be sold at a coin auction, you could expect it to go for anywhere from $96,000, or possibly a bit more if there's high demand from collectors. Coin values can fluctuate based on market trends, but for now, the 1944 large date without mint mark in extra fine condition remains a popular and collectible penny. Now, if you happen to have one of these 1944 Lincoln wheat pennies in your collection, it's important to take good care of it to maintain its value. Store it in a coin holder, plastic flip, or coin album to protect it from wear and tear. And remember, don't clean your coins. Cleaning can scratch or alter the surface, decreasing its value over time. Next up, the 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in extra fine condition. We'll talk about its historical significance, its condition, and of course how much it's worth in today's market. So, let's get started. Let's begin by examining the obverse of the coin. As you can see, the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this design has been a hallmark of the Lincoln cent since it was first introduced in 1909. The "In God We Trust" inscription is clearly visible, and Lincoln's likeness is crisp, even with some light wear, which is typical of a coin in extra fine condition. Now, let's zoom in on the important details. The date and mint mark. The 1941 penny is an interesting one, as it doesn't have a mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint now. What makes this coin especially valuable is its condition. This penny is graded in extra fine condition, which means it shows some light wear but retains much of its original sharpness and detail. On a coin like this, you'll still be able to see Lincoln's profile clearly. The details in his hair and collar are well preserved, and the lettering is intact. On the reverse side, the wheat stalks are clearly visible with only slight wear, making this coin a beautiful example of a well-maintained 1941 Lincoln wheat penny. Turning the coin over to the reverse, we see the iconic wheat stalks design, which has become a symbol of the United States' agricultural strength. The words "E pluribus unum" and 1 cent are visible, along with United States of America along the top. In extra fine condition, the details on the wheat stalks are still defined, with only minor wear on the highest points, which is a key factor in its value. Now, you're probably wondering, how much is this 1941 Lincoln wheat penny worth in today's market? In extra fine condition, this coin typically sells for around $135,000, depending on the buyer and auction trends. While it's not the rarest penny in the world, its solid condition and popularity among collectors give it significant value, especially for those looking to complete their Lincoln wheat penny collections. If you were to find this coin at a coin auction, you could expect to see it go for anywhere from $150,000, depending on the interest from collectors at the time. If you have a well-preserved coin, you may even see bids push higher, especially from passionate Lincoln cent collectors. Now, if you've got a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny like this in your collection, you'll want to protect it. Storing it in a coin holder or protective sleeve will help maintain its condition and prevent damage. Remember, don't clean your coins, as cleaning can scratch the surface and lower the value. So there you have it. The 1941 Lincoln wheat penny, without mint mark, in extra fine condition, is a valuable piece, fetching anywhere from $30,000 in today's market. While it's not the rarest coin out there, its historical significance and appealing design make it a must-have for many collectors. Next up, the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark, featuring a red color shade in dirty condition. Now, you might be wondering how such a coin holds up in the market today, so stay tuned as we dive into its historical value and condition. Let's start with the obverse, where you can see Abraham Lincoln's portrait. The design by Victor David Brenner is iconic and hasn't changed much over the years. Despite the dirty condition, you can still make out Lincoln's profile, his hairline, and the "In God We Trust" inscription. Now, the red color shade is something to note here. The 1947 Lincoln penny is often seen with a reddish tint when it's in its original uncirculated state, but in this case, the coin's dirt and wear have affected how the red hue presents itself. Moving over to the date and mint mark area, this penny is from 1947, and it doesn't have a mint mark. That means it was minted in Philadelphia, the main U.S. mint now. You may be asking, what's the significance of a coin without a mint mark? Well, coins from Philadelphia are generally more common, but when they're in unique conditions like this one, they can still carry value. Now, let's take a closer look at the condition of this coin. This 1947 Lincoln wheat penny is definitely in dirty condition, which affects its overall appeal to collectors. There's dirt, grime, and possibly some corrosion on the surface, making the details a bit harder to read, especially the wheat stalks on the reverse. In dirty condition, this penny still has some defining features, but it's not in the best shape for collectors looking for high-quality coins. However, it's important to note that dirt doesn't necessarily mean a coin is worthless. It's just something collectors often avoid, as it can reduce the overall appeal. Turning the coin over to the reverse, we can see the familiar wheat stalks design, which gives the penny its iconic name. The E pluribus unum and 1 cent inscriptions are visible, but the wear and grime on the coin make them a bit more challenging to read. Even with the dirt, the wheat stalks are still somewhat discernible, though they lack the crisp definition you'd see on a coin in better condition. It's clear that this penny has seen some wear and age over the years. So, you're probably wondering, how much is this 1947 Lincoln wheat penny, in dirty condition with a red color shade, worth in today's market? Well, despite its dirty state, this coin still holds some value. A 1947 Lincoln wheat penny in dirty condition can typically fetch between 50 cents to $2, depending on the buyer and the specific auction. Coins in this condition are generally more affordable than those in higher grades, but they still hold appeal for certain collectors who might be interested in low-cost pieces to complete their collection. If you were to find this coin at an auction, you might see it sell for slightly more, around the $60,000 range, depending on the level of dirt and wear, and whether or not collectors are willing to take a chance on a less-than-perfect coin. Now, if you have a coin like this in your collection and you want to preserve it, there's a simple rule to follow. Don't clean your coins. Cleaning a coin can scratch its surface and lower its value, so it's always better to leave the dirt as it is unless you're planning on sending it to a professional for cleaning. Next up, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the S mint mark and a large date. We'll explore its unique features, what makes it valuable, and just how much it's worth in today's market. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's dive in. Let's start with the obverse, or the front of the coin. This features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's face is clearly visible, though with some wear due to its good condition. You'll also spot the inscription, "In God, We Trust," with the year 1952 right below his chin. The large date is a key feature of this coin. If you take a close look, the numbers in 1952 appear larger compared to other years, making it stand out. The large date variety is common for 1952, but still important for collectors who appreciate subtle differences in design. Let's take a closer look at the date and the mint mark. As you can see, the coin is marked with an S mint mark, which means it was minted in San Francisco. Coins from the San Francisco Mint are often of interest to collectors, and the S mint mark is a key detail that can impact the coin's value. Flipping the coin over to the reverse, we see the famous wheat stalks design. This was used from 1909 until 1958, giving the Lincoln Wheat Penny its name. The reverse features the words 1 cent and E pluribus unum. You'll notice the wear on the wheat stalks, but the overall design is still visible, despite the coin's condition. Since this coin is in good condition, the wheat stalks may appear a little worn, but they're still discernible, which is an important factor for collectors. The United States of America inscription can still be clearly seen around the edge of the coin. Now let's talk about the condition. This 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny is in good condition. What does that mean? Well, in good condition, you can still read most of the inscriptions, though the coin does show signs of wear. The details are softened but not completely worn down. For coins in good condition, you might notice that the Lincoln portrait is a bit more worn than in higher grades, and the wheat stalks on the reverse have seen some action over the years. However, the overall appeal of the coin remains intact, making it valuable for collectors who appreciate its historical significance. So, what's this 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny worth in today's market? The value of a good condition coin like this can vary depending on demand, but generally, you're looking at a value between $80,000 in the current market. For a coin in good condition, with the S mint mark, the value can be a little higher than a penny, from the same year with no mint mark or other mint marks. In certain cases, especially if the coin is sold through an auction, it could go for as much as $110,000, but that would depend on the auction and the buyer's interest. If you happen to have this coin in your collection, make sure to store it properly. Use a coin holder or flip to prevent any further wear and tear. Avoid cleaning it yourself, as cleaning can reduce its value. If you're looking to increase its appeal, simply keep it in a safe, dry place to avoid dirt buildup or corrosion. So, there you have it, the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Penny, with the S mint mark in good condition. While it's not a high-grade coin, it still holds its own value and can be an important piece for collectors interested in Lincoln pennies, particularly those with the S mint mark from San Francisco. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any more of our coin content. And drop a comment below if you've ever found a 1952 wheat penny, or if you've got any tips on how you preserve your coins.